Welcome back to Overexerted, a Disney Lorcana podcast brought to you by two, possibly three tired dads soon.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
I won't tell anyone. Yeah.
We're already at the fourth tired dad at this point, so
That's true. That's true. Then Charles messages and said he wants to come back, and then next thing you know, we're just a whole army of tired dads ready to take over the Lorcana scene.
I mean, I feel like tired dads are particularly ill-positioned to take over anything.
No, the couch for a nap
The
in the
couch,
afternoon.
yes. Afternoon naps. Is there anything better? Anything in life better than a good afternoon nap?
I think there's nothing better when you sit down on the couch and your kid just wants to sit there and like watch a show and relax with you. You got your arm around him and you just start doing one of these.
And then it's, Daddy, you're snoring.
No, I wasn't sleeping.
That can't be right.
That's not
Must have
me.
been
That
Mummy
must
from
have
the
been...
other room.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I am Benny, your host as usual, as we get into the longer intros.
Right?
Oh, too good. All right, so Heath, what did you want to talk about today?
I mean, lots of stuff to talk about right now. It just depends on everyone's with the good, the bad, or the ugly. Let's start with, I don't know. What would you like to start with, Benny? Let's let you lead the charge here. I threw some ideas out. What do you think we should talk about?
Well, I like your one idea because I kind of didn't even think about that, which is the reign of Jafar being subject to tariffs if you live in Canada or other countries, I guess.
Well, non-EU, right? Because
yeah.
EU, they're
So
producing and get them from there, right? Or just Europe in general. But I imagine Australia probably gets it from the US. We certainly get it from the US up here in Canada. I don't know where else they're shipping. But yeah, if you're getting it from the US, they've already told LGSs, shout out Screen Free Games in Semiamu, that, unfortunately, tariffs are going to be applicable to Reign of Jafar. Uh-oh.
Come on, that's not right. This is a child's educational game.
Isn't there some kind of waiver for educational games? Come on now.
There we go. We found the loophole.
We're teaching math.
And reading.
So not only is there these massive tariffs that are going to affect the price of Reign of Jafar, but Fable, we heard they're going to try and source from EU for Canada. But I can't imagine that doesn't increase the price also. Maybe not as much as, 25 or whatever percentage it's at now. But still more, right? Because you're shipping from further away. I don't know if the production costs are the same there or different. So, yeah, there's a distinct possibility that for the foreseeable future, that the price, at least in Canada, if not other places, is going up.
So what you're saying is, I buy a truck, I hollow it out, I go and buy a bunch down in the States, drive it up here. Nobody gets busted for smuggling Lorcana.
Except for we're doomed on both ends of the equation because our dollar's so garbage that if we go down to the States to buy from there, then then we got problems. And obviously, if you declare it coming back up, you're going to get hit with tariffs. So. Mm-hmm. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. So to our Canadian brethren out there, stay strong because the foreseeable future is going to be a little tough. So the question that I had is, does this affect how we feel about sealed product right now? Does this affect playing the game right now? Like, if anyone was like kind of on the edge of playability in terms of, I love this hobby, but I can kind of barely afford to play it. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be enough to drive some out of the game?
Yeah, I was actually contemplating buying more boxes in the next two sets so that I could kind of just have my packs ready to open right on every episode. Be good to go. But now I'm like, am I going to be buying
one per episode? If you could actually just hold them aside, that wouldn't be such a problem. But you need a new box per episode because you just can't have a box and not open it.
Well, I need like for myself to play the game, but then to the second box would obviously fill the play set.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's kind of tough to say, kind of difficult to foresee what's going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
Canada's the closest thing to a European country at this point, anyways.
I mean, let's not get into politics, but certainly there's discussions being had about EU and all that. But I mean, this is just my concern is what I mentioned. Like, ultimately, if anyone's borderline in terms of playability or in terms of opening seal, oh
Hmm.
man, I love opening seal, but I just can't afford to if the price is going to shoot up another 25%, you know? So
Yeah,
specifically, Screen Free Games, I believe, had them at 145 before, and they've got them at 160 now, Canadian. The last set versus Reign of Jafar, which isn't, I don't think, equivalent. I think they're probably eating some of that, is what it looks like
yeah.
to me. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
Hmm. Whew, that's kind of scary.
Yeah,
I
because even
was,
a
I
singles
was,
player like me, right? Presumably, the cost of singles goes up commensurately, right?
yeah. Yeah, I was really looking forward to this next set too.
Yeah.
Big Aladdin fan. Always love me Aladdin. Sitting
Yeah.
here with two enchanted Aladdins from the
Yeah.
first set, and I just, yeah, to see this, I'm like, ah, I was
Sorry,
really
everyone
excited
at
for
home.
this
This
one.
has become the this is the bad news show.
Yeah, well, I figure we start with the bad news. Maybe we move into the good eventually, right?
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly is really how I categorized it. This is the bad, the ugly is yet to come. Sorry.
Um,
Everyone's
as
like, I
long
turn it off now. Off.
I'm
Off.
I'm hoping Fable doesn't go up too much because that's the set that I was ready to break bank on. So
So EU is where we'll be sourcing it from for Canada.
yeah,
Unless obviously the tariffs go away and then maybe that changes. But I don't know how far in advance they have to source it, right?
that's true.
So there's a distinct possibility that with it, if it doesn't go away within the next month, that they've already got to source it by that point. So if that's the case, I can't imagine the cost is going to go up as much as it will for
Yeah,
Reign of Jafar. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So it will be less than Reign of Jafar, but more than Arcasia's Island. So
yeah. Huh. Well, that's kind of bad and ugly right there. I don't like any of that.
bummer, dude. Yeah, it's. I mean, who knows, right? If it's $15 for a box, that's
Hmm.
not so bad. But again, I feel like Screen Free Games is probably eating some of that because the tariffs. I think baseline for anything right now is like 25% for Canada. And it was
Yeah.
10% some places in the world, but I think our baseline was 25. So
Oof.
yikes. Keep
Yeah,
an
this
eye
isn't
out for
good.
that as stores start releasing their pricing for Reign of Jafar. If you see one that is at equivalent retail for Arcasian's Island, then maybe jump on that because they might not have become aware of that, or maybe they're just
Yeah.
the margins are so slim on TCGs. I would hesitate to push my LGS to eat any of those tariffs, right? Oh, I was watching this video just to derail this conversation completely. I was watching this video earlier today on a watch supplier. I'm a big fan of watches, a watch wholesaler in the States, and he was going through his tariffs for these Swiss watches and Chinese watches and Japanese watches and stuff like that.
Oh,
It's but let's not get political. Yeah.
yeah.
So this is just an FYI for everyone. We're 9 minutes in. It's like, okay, let's tone it down.
I mean, if you guys do find a box at an Arcasia's Island price, maybe shout out
Give
your
us a
two
heads up
favorite
in the
co-hosts
Discord, or
and
at least
let us know.
one.
Mm-hmm. One of us can pass the message on to the other. Obviously, we're not worried about that.
Yeah. What's
Uh,
next on the docket? What do you want to go to next?
oh, let's see. I mean, I feel like this could be the ugly.
I think you
Uh,
probably know what I'm referring to. There's the ugly. It's pretty ugly right out there right now in those streets.
yeah, I feel like the next one you had in the point list is probably the ugly.
Yeah.
Um, Sapphire and any other color continues to dominate. Notable players who historically never played Sapphire continue to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah. I mean, so many players that never played Sapphire a day in their life, and are like known for particular decks, um, are jumping on Sapphire. Now, someone like Zan is not necessarily known for a particular deck. He's bounced around a little bit, but I
Hmm.
think like Kendall Burnett, for example, like
Hmm.
Amethyst
Ruby
Ruby for
Emeralds.
life. And now on that Sapphire Steel bandwagon. And I say bandwagon not to say they're like bandwagoners or anything. It's like, it's Sapphire Spring, ladies and gentlemen. There isn't really much that they can do about it. If you want to win, kind of have to play Sapphire. Not exclusively. Obviously, other decks are doing all right, but
Yeah.
it's just so statistically skewed towards Sapphire that you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. You're basically doing what I did when Bucky was around because I wanted to play Green Steel, but I just loathe Bucky. So I'm like, I know Bucky's the deck I should be playing, but I'm
Yeah.
just protesting via not playing Bucky. That's really the only reason not to play Sapphire, is if you're just so adamant that I do not want to play Sapphire, but
Yeah.
statistically you should be playing Sapphire. So the
What?
question that I had kind of revolving around that is, and I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but one, what's the vibe out in locals? So I want to put that out to the audience. What's your locals looking like? Is it getting skewed towards Sapphire for you, Benny? Has that shifted at all over the last week? And
A
what
little.
is your LGS doing to account for that? So, for example, my LGS, at least one of them, is trying to look at putting it out on the Discord like, hey, what else do we want to do other than constructed? Do we want to do some 2v2? Do we want to do some draft? Do we want to do some, multiplayer, like full free for all multiplayer? Do we want to do Popper? Do we want to do. So, what's your local scene doing, if anything at all, to maybe mix things up? And what would you like to see if things start stagnating a little bit?
Yeah. We're not doing anything to be honest, because we only have about two players that are really going full on the
Hardcore?
Sapphire, but they've
Yeah.
also been Sapphire players the entire time.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, to be honest, I'm building two new decks tonight. Uh, one of them uses Sapphire,
I mean,
but it's
I'm talking
not.
about specifically like the ultra competitive Ruby Sapphire and Sapphire
Yeah.
Steel,
Yeah, it's
right?
one of them uses Sapphire, but it's not Sapphire Steel. It's not Sapphire Ruby. So at least I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. We'll see how it goes next week at locals, and if it's terrible, who knows? Maybe I will add in some Ruby because
Yeah.
I have three ideas for a deck. I want to see how they do, and if they do decent this month, then specifically against those 1 to 2 players that do play Sapphire,
Yep.
then I will know if it's going to do decent at set championships. If it's not, then I play and I see if I get a hero card that's foiled, or I play and I get a hero card that's not foiled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Personally, for me, it's not bad because I don't have to see it every single time. I don't have to see it every single matchup.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of still okay there because there's still people that are like, I still want to play my aggro deck. I still want to play my um yeah, what else is there? There's a lot of decks, but even the aggro player has said recently, because our last matchup, I'm still playing Emerald Steel, and she's like, I don't like running into your Emerald Steel deck, and I'm like, yeah, but like, how often do you have to see me? You don't have to see me every week.
I mean, this is the problem I have. And quite frankly, for y'all out there, really the only reason I'm staying current is for
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually pretty much taking this set off in terms of constructed, like in
Fair.
terms of the like meta constructed. I'll throw in with a few set champs just for fun.
Yeah.
Um, but just the thought of playing these Sapphire decks week in and week out, not just against, like quite frankly, I'll put it out there. I have a difficulty not playing one of the best decks again,
Yeah.
other than it being so egregious as it is now, or Bucky. But when Bucky was around, there was decks that I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't necessarily a deck that isn't Sapphire that I want to play right now that's competitive. So I can't even do the like protest play for anti Bucky. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any interest in playing constructed this set. There's no DLCs to really ramp for. So what am I playing for? I'm playing for Hero
Yeah.
with one mat. Like the mat was the only thing that got me going this last set. I didn't really want the promo. I don't really want the promo this time. I want the mat, but
Yeah.
as much as I like to think I can be competitive, I know given that I'm not really going to be practicing up until then because I'm not
Yeah.
really interested in the meta, and there's only one mat to go for, and I don't even want the one that is emblazoned champion on it. I just don't feel much motivation to be playing this set. And this is
Yeah.
the concern I have is, are there others out there? Because last set and the set before, I was all in. Like I went to DLC Toronto, Seattle. I went to uh, the last chance qualifier at Nationals. Maybe not as much as some of these really competitive people, but I think especially for myself, whose last main like tournament of note was in 2002 or 2004 or something like that. I think, and for Magic, whenever Darksteel was out from here, I've been blocked for all my FGG players out there, if you can let me know. But regardless, like I'm not normally doing that, but I was so invested in it, especially this last set. The meta was so diverse. I'm like, this is fun. This is cool. I can goof around and play a few different decks and still be relatively competitive. Whereas normally I feel like I'm kind of pigeonholed into one or two decks if I want to be competitive. So I really like that. And then just to come from that, just breaks heavy on and or off a cliff, however we want this analogy to
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I'm worried.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough, especially like knowing that set champs are coming up, and I'm going to be probably seeing 10 times more Sapphire Steel or Sapphire
Oh,
Ruby
for
players.
sure.
So it's
Those
like,
Vancouver crew, that Burnaby crew, they're coming for you, man. They're coming
yep,
and they're bringing their sapphire.
yeah, exactly. I already know. I already know how I'm going to beat most of the Vancouver crew, though. I'm not really worried about that. I noticed a lot of them only
Block
do
the
like
doors.
they only do like one sleeve on their card. Like I'm a triple sleever, so like I'm just gonna reach across the table, quickly pull the card out of the sleeve, and then start eating it, and then be like, "Judge, 59 cards in their deck. Disqualification, please."
By the way, if any of you out there are watching, love that crew. You guys are awesome. I got no shade for you for being competitive. Like I
No,
said, I like to be competitive. I'm just bored by this competitive scene. So yeah, I find it difficult to get up for set champs. To be honest with you, like I don't practice nearly as much as I should for DLCs, but I at
yeah,
least get serious about it, even if I'm not practicing as much as I should. That champs I find it difficult to really get motivated for.
I do got one thing that might be good news.
Oh, into the Inklands. Okay.
8.99
Why?
a starter deck.
I mean, but it's into the Inklands.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna open it on here.
The boosters are only worth like $1.50 now, aren't they?
I don't know, but I found them. I found them out in the wild, not at an LGS, and I said, "Wow, $8 a starter deck. I've been looking for cheap starter decks
Who
for a
can
while."
go wrong?
So I said, you know what? If I could find a booster box like they can in America for $50, I'd be all over that. But this is the best I
I
could
probably would
find,
too, but
and
only just to draft with. Uh, all right, hit me with it.
I
What was
figured
in
I'd
those starter
throw
decks anyway? Anything of note or merit in those starter decks?
Ruby and Sapphire.
That's on brand right now. That's fitting. That
Let's
was really when it
see.
started dominating too, was set three.
There is not a ton. Oh, I guess the Scrooge is in here. The $ Scrooge, which
Oh,
isn't.
you know what? Like the only time they've done unique foiling on a card, by the way. Just one and done. Just that Scrooge.
Yeah, but there's not a ton that's like I really need these cards, and I don't
Yeah.
think I'm missing a ton out of here. So I was like, you know what?
So what you're saying is just leave those sealed and use it as a gift for someone at some point.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
A
give it.
terrible, terrible gift.
I'm just gonna give somebody both the starter decks. I don't know.
All
We've
right.
got
Okay. So
repair.
okay, I gotta first of all put myself back to Into the Inklands draft. What was I going after in Into the Inklands draft? I remember Floodborne draft really well because I just loved going after the like damage matters cards in that particular set. But this
Bounce,
set was
bounce,
like
bounce.
There wasn't really anything that stood out in terms of synergies that mattered in this set, so just value is probably going to be the name of the game. All right, hit me. So, yeah,
Repair.
garbage. Yeah.
Chief Tui.
Better than repair.
One of the Moanas that you get in the starter deck.
Yeah. All right, so that one's at least useful because
Yeah.
it's evasive, right?
Evasive.
You're
3/4.
blurry as heck, so I'm trying to remember. Was the
Yeah,
four cost
I've
3/4
noticed all of a
evasive?
sudden it's like so blurry.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll take the 3/4 evasive still.
all right, we got
So
the
normally evasive, I want to have two lore, but a 3/4 body on evasive is not bad because you can challenge a couple things.
that's true. Magicka Dispel.
I mean, I do like the two cost 2/3s, but probably still keeping the evasive. No, get
Neverland.
out of here. Locations. There's like 3 locations in all of Lorcana that I would want to actively draft.
Shout out to Y Breezy.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Breezy. Still a location in draft, and Knive is also gonna fight me on that. He likes the locations, but
Hydra. Or Hydros, sorry.
no.
99
Bad Elsa.
puppies.
Oh yeah. Rip.
Oh, super rare. Magicka Dispel.
We're still on Moana. Ooh, that's a bad pack right there.
Super rare. Scrooge McDuck. And a uncommon foil Starkey.
Wow, we ended the pack with a 4 cost 3/4 lore evasive. That's not where you want to be as the first pick. Yeah.
Obviously a great set. Obviously the best set.
What a
There's no
terrible,
reason.
terrible set.
There's no reason why this set should be so cheap.
Oh,
I
we're
don't
going both
understand the hate.
boosties. You see, they burn a hole in your pocket. You can't help
I
yourself.
I would never open one of Inkland's DeVille
All
Manor.
right. Yeah, it's still a location.
Bestow a gift.
Somehow worse. I don't know. It's
Oh well,
cycles.
you can't say you wouldn't take this.
So that
McDuck
is one of
Manic.
the three. So specifically that and Queen's Castle and the library are the 3 locations that I'm like actively drafting.
Razul.
Probably still the location somehow. This was okay.
Jim Hawkins, everybody's favorite boy.
Not
Uh,
that Jim. Not that Jim.
Cleansing rainwater.
Somehow still the location. I don't know how I'm still on the location halfway through a pack, but
It calls me. These these are not good. These are
I mean,
not
it's
good.
into the Inklands. You did it to yourself, my friend.
Nani.
She's the bodyguard, right? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Nani definitely. Yeah.
Kit Cloud Kicker.
Unless I'm planning to go high per tempo, then it's still Nani. And it probably is still Nani.
Peter Pan.
He's what, 4/5 lore evasive?
Yes, he's 4/5. 2 lore of evasive.
The
Shift
rest of it
4.
doesn't really matter.
6
Four,
cost.
five, two lore evasive for 6. Uh, ooh, I might still take Nani. She's a 3/5 lore, right? Bodyguard
3
for
6,
5?
I think.
3/6?
3 6 for 5. Yeah.
Okay,
2
definitely
lore.
Nani then. Peter
And
Pan's
then
sexier, but
the
no.
other Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's the 6 cost is what does it for me for Peter Pan. I mean, on rate, he's great. I'd be tempted to take either or. I don't think you lose there, but yeah,
That's what you really want. That's what you
right?
really want.
1 willpower. Oof.
In a
Yeah.
set that actually had removal.
Though she's ward. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I think Nani there, but I wouldn't fault her for taking Peter Pan. 2 Laura
Yeah.
evasives with 5 willpower are good business, but it's the 6 cost that does it for me a little. But at least it's inkable, right? Yeah,
Ugh.
maybe I'm selling myself on Peter Pan, but they're both good.
I think I needed none of those cards, to be honest, in my
What were
playsets.
you expecting? It's into the Inklands.
Playset, incomplete, non-foil, and oh, I'm close. Oh, never mind.
Dude,
All I'm missing is Mickey Mouse Trumpeter. Oh, woof.
woof indeed. A woof of a set. isn't it wild that like potentially the worst set is the one that they printed the most of?
Yeah. That's how it is though. That's usually how it
Yeah.
is, right? Make the worst the thing you make the most of.
Well, the fact that they basically have to give them away is wild.
They are
Uh,
now. Yeah, in Disney Springs, if you make a purchase, you get a free pack of Inklands.
so I don't feel like we really wrapped up the Sapphire conversation. Like, is there any hope here other than a ban? And I'm really not a fan of bans. But is
I'm not
there
a fan of
any
bands either, and
hope otherwise?
I'm not a fan of the errata. Like the
No,
errata.
the errata's nonsense. The errata's a ban without banning. It's silly. No,
Yeah,
ban it. Have the courage. If you're gonna ban something, ban it.
just bring back Bucky. I keep saying it. I actually want to
No,
see. I actually want to see if there's somebody out there who's testing it. Test old Bucky against the new set, and let me know if it's fair.
I think it's still oppressive, right?
You think
Because
so?
even yeah, because it's got Ward, right? So even if you've got
Yeah.
Belle out there singing "Let the Storm Rage On," Bucky's still got Ward, right?
True.
Um,
True.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's real hard to get rid of. I think it would necessitate people starting to run, grab your sword again if he was still out there. But
Yep.
yeah, no, I think that Bucky is still too oppressive. The Ward, and this is it. If you were going to Rata, but still wanted him to be competitive, get rid of one of the three. Make him three
Mm-hmm.
cost, or get rid of the Ward, or get rid of the Floodborn. Making it shift is kind of lame. Nobody, yeah, like okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to be shifting a ton in this game. So for me, it was make it three cost or get rid of the Ward. I
Yeah.
think getting rid of the Ward would have made the most sense. Three cost, it just makes it slower, but not necessarily less oppressive. I think get rid
Mm-hmm.
of the Ward, make it a two cost, 1/1, and you've got upside and you've got high risk because it can be removed so easily. So,
Well, you're kind of making it so nothing can happen until turn two. Because if I play my Diablo and then turn two I throw down the Bucky and then I shift my Diablo, nothing can happen till turn two. If you play Popsicle, banish your Popsicle, play Bell, you're going to be singing a song to take out my Bucky or my Diablo on turn two, not
yeah,
turn one. So fair, fair, you know.
yeah.
Um,
Like if you got, and this is where if you got one trigger, two triggers off Bucky, it wasn't
mm,
so bad. It's when you start because it compounds, right?
yeah,
So if you can't remove it, right? If you could remove it, and it's like, okay, you got one trigger because you played it and you shifted, and that's fine. I'll remove it next turn. Whereas if it's got the word and I can't remove it, that's problematic. And this is what DKP was saying on Twitter. He's like, I want here I'm being banned, and a lot of people are saying, okay, it should probably be popsicle. Regardless, ban one of the elements
yeah,
there. Um, but then his concern is then discard becomes oppressive without
hmm
Bucky. It's like maybe so, but this is where it's this ban is a slippery slope because you ban the thing that's most impactful now, but then the next thing becomes impactful. And it's like,
hmm
yes, you could find a balance, or you could have just removed the barrier for the next oppressive thing. So just banning stuff feels like it's easy to just then get in a loop of, well, I banned this thing because it was great. And now this thing's great, so I guess I gotta ban that. Now this thing's great, so I guess I gotta ban that. It's like,
yeah,
and where's the line of great, right? Is it 50% of the metagame? Is it 40%? Because Ruby Sapphire was a high percentage of the metagame
hmm
in previous sets, but it never. Oh, it's good. But it never struck me as being like egregiously good. It was just
hmm
consistent.
yeah,
So you do ban something because it's consistent, because it makes up a high percentage of the metagame. It wasn't winning all that much. It was placing really well, right?
yeah,
And that you could argue is just as much about density. It's just as much about there was a lot of people playing it, so obviously you're going to get some people placing. So I think banning is just such a risky proposition. But I
Mhm.
just don't see any other way out of this metagame other than just doing what I'm suggesting, which is just wait.
Yeah.
Just sit this one out, fellas. So
What
I don't know,
was what
ladies and
was
gentlemen,
the
not just fellas.
set champs card during Bucky and that downfall?
Uh, was that Ursula?
Could have been.
Yes, yes, it was Ursula.
Okay. So
Because
I
Diablo didn't come in until Ursula's, right?
I still don't have an Ursula set champs card because I just played like one or two and kind of skipped the
Yeah,
rest.
because you were not loving Bucky, but I thought he was your biggest. You were his
No, no,
biggest
no.
fan.
I didn't have a problem with Bucky. I just I didn't I don't think I played as much that set
Yeah.
because I was busy or something like that, and people were like, "Oh, Bucky's terrible," and it's like, well, the only set champs that I went to, I ran into like one or two Buckies, and I wasn't worried about it. I just played the same game I would have played, and it wasn't the Bucky that ruined the set champs for me. It was the fact that I had a janky deck that I threw together last second and hoped for it to be good.
Gee, why does that sound familiar? Just every story you've ever told me about, except for the last one that you won.
Yeah,
That was the only
exactly.
one that you've ever told me that you played a competitive deck.
Yeah,
Go figure.
yeah. Weird. Who knows?
Weird how that happens. All right. Can we get to some good stuff now? Sorry for dragging us back to Sapphire, but like I feel like I need a resolution of like what are we doing? And I guess the answer is we don't know. Go figure.
All right. You were talking about your LGS before. That was another point that you had ready
Oh
to
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Just in terms of what are your outlets, right? Because
Mhm.
and maybe I'm beating this drum too much, but I just don't want anyone getting discouraged, right? Like ultimately, I don't want anyone quitting the game because that seems to be it. Everyone's kind of black and white. Either I'm playing and I'm loving it, or I'm quitting the game. It's like, why does it have to be one or the other?
Yeah.
There are many ways to play the game. You can wait. There's lots of different answers. So I just don't want anyone getting discouraged. So my answer is if you are getting discouraged, talk to your LGS, talk to your player base. Hey, can we mix things up from time to time? Does it always have to be competitive constructed every week? I would argue it doesn't. For the competitive constructed players, they have no end of recourse for playing competitive constructed. But I'm
Yeah.
sure that there's players in your local play group that would love to play something else from time to time, right?
Yeah. I think I only ever had one time where I said I was quitting this game.
Was it when you heard Citizens of Lorcana was wrapping it up?
No,
Cried
no.
yourself to sleep?
I came very close at that point. But the only time where I've said I'm quitting this game, and I was joking, but there was a hint of seriousness in it, was oh, I believe it was like a two or three set champs ago. I I went to set champs and I bubbled out on a 9-person set champs and was
Oh,
like,
so this would have been Mirabelle then. Would have been
probably,
Shimmering
yeah.
Skies because they went to eight, right? Or are you talking about like top eight to play for top four? Could have
Yes,
also been it.
yes, yeah. So this
Okay, okay,
was
okay,
this was probably October last year, yeah. Because I remember I had Thanksgiving dinner.
okay.
And so I bubbled out and then I just remember going, man, I'm done. I'm done. Bubbling out
One
is
set champs.
the worst feeling ever. And it was yeah, it was
I've
like,
bubbled out twice. I haven't thought about quitting. I've just been like, hey, I suck today.
oh yeah. I don't mind if I'm like, hey, I suck today, but it's like when you have the 9-person bubble and you get the like two or three people making it to the top 8 from
Yeah.
buys, you're like, come on.
I I hate how potent buys are in a
Mhm.
set champ scenario, right? Yeah, we've got a few set champs around here that are big enough player base that buys aren't as relevant, but there's plenty that all they've got capacity for is 16.
Yeah.
And then the buys are huge if like one person doesn't show up, and now we got 15, and yeah, it's ugly. All right,
Yeah.
let's shift to something more positive. Did I have anything more positive other than the last point? What was
Well,
my first point
I
again?
I would like to see more casual. I do know that
Yeah,
one LGS that I go to, shout out Tombkeeper Games as well. Again, as they start ramping up, kind of Mikey being more at the store because he's going to
yeah.
be constantly taking over full time there instead of
Oh no.
having to try and do work and LGS and all that fun stuff. I know he talked about trying to bring in like what did they call it? Double feature or feature format where you have two
Yep.
films that you build a deck out of and go from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to try that out. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what my second film is going to be because I'm an Aladdin boy. I got to have Aladdin, so I guess I got to choose Robin Hood because that's like my other go-to.
I mean, you could do a Aladdin. I was gonna say that ruby strikes me as the Aladdin color because I just think of set one Aladdin being so good in a situation where it's not like super meta, right?
Hmm.
When it's more casual. Aladdin, what would that go with? I mean, is there enough between Aladdin and Robin Hood?
Maybe I'd just go Aladdin and the Beast. You can't go wrong with
Ooh,
Beauty
you
and the
know what you
Beast.
do? You go Aladdin and Mulan, and you do Mulan the sharpshooter with
Yeah.
Mushu and some Aladdin challenging there. That could be
Oh,
interesting. I don't know if there's enough to be had there, but if you can get a full deck out of Aladdin and Mulan, that could be interesting. Ruby Steel.
yeah. I would like to see one of these tournaments
Strength
I've
of
seen
Raging Fires,
before.
Mulan.
Ooh, there we go. There we go. Um, I would like to see one of these tournaments that I've seen in the past where it's like 3 versus 3, but each person in the tournament has to be using different colors, so you're using all
Yeah,
16
yeah, yeah. I
colors.
like that too. Yep,
I want
yep.
to see. I want to see more of that. I want to see that. I'd like to see some sealed stuff. Maybe that would
And
be.
Sapphire cannot be paired with either Ruby or Steel. Sapphire's got to be paired with one of the other colors.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say. I mean, at least you know you're going into it. Somebody else is gonna be playing Sapphire. So,
Yeah. I had a blast at Nationals, 2v2 sealed. Shout out Drew, Mr. Cube Club himself. And we partnered up for a 2v2 sealed. You open 12 packs. In this
yep.
case, it was Chaos, so it was one of each set from set one through six. And open up 12 packs and make two decks out of it. I'm usually not a
Hmm.
huge sealed fan because I don't see as much strategy in building the deck out of six packs. You kind of got to go based on luck. But as soon as it expanded to 12 packs and have to build two effective decks,
Hmm.
it felt really strategic. Like we debated for a while which angle do we want to go. We ended up going with one more aggressive deck because we had some evasives and kind of lean into that, and then
Yeah.
one just kind of big body controlling deck. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I would recommend that if anyone's interested in running a sealed event, 2v2.
Yeah.
The way they played it out was two individual sets of games, best of threes, but you could also do it as like a two-headed giant type thing where you have like going to 40 lore and you're both playing together type thing. I don't know if there's anybody that's fleshed out rules like that, but
Hmm.
you could see if there's rules, or you could just do the individual matches and just have the kind of 2v2 part be the deck building, but also we had the opportunity to converse during the game, right? Kind of give each other tips and hey, what should I do here? What should I mulligan? What should I? So that was interesting. It's good.
Were you guys able to like in your 12 packs that you opened, your six each? Are you able to like trade cards to build
Yeah,
one
so
deck
that's what I
better?
say. You take
Oh,
all 12 packs and you build two decks out of it,
that's
however you
yeah,
will, right?
that's
So
deadly.
yeah, it was really good.
Until one person pulls the enchanted and they're like, "No, I want
So we made an arrangement beforehand that
that."
you keep what you open, except enchanteds. I said we'll split. If it's an
Ah,
enchanted, we'll sell it and split it. Or if you really want to keep it, we'll just look at what the market value is and pay out the half. Right.
that's fair.
But I feel like if you're gonna do a 2v2, you almost have to have an arrangement like that in place at a time, just
Yeah,
so you mitigate the chance that someone's gonna feel real bad about that experience,
yeah, exactly.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So. All right, what else? What else can we talk about today? I've still got the one in my back pocket, the one kind of thing that I'm hoping to make a weekly piece. But otherwise, is there anything else on the list we want to dig into
Um,
today?
yeah, that's pretty much it. I figure we could keep it nice, short, and simple. We've both had quite
Yeah,
busy weekends this weekend as well. I was away camping all weekend for my kid's birthday, and
I'm
you're
currently in
starting.
Nebraska for work.
Yeah, new
Yeah.
new endeavors all around.
Yeah.
But there is a guest that I'm hoping to get on soon that will
Okay.
actually kind of work with your new segment there that you kind of.
Yeah, so I just thought, again, amidst all this kind of dour conversation, I thought it'd be cool to do a weekly segment around kind of a moment of gratitude. Something that we're grateful for, either something that happened at our LGS, someone was really cool about something,
Mm,
you see someone maybe giving away some cards to a new player or taking the time just to show someone how to play other than the LGS, right?
yeah,
I mean, shout out to them as well, obviously, but or stuff in the community, like the broader online community. You see a great story on X or something like that. We hopefully touch on positive stories all the time, but just to be really thoughtful about it and just to make sure that we have kind of a moment of gratitude. So I thought it'd be cool if we kind of each have one. If you didn't have one ready, I'm more than happy to dive into one. But yeah,
that
any
was me
thoughts
doing a
on
bad.
yours?
Had to do a
Oh.
battery change. My headset died mid sentence, and I was like, mm-hmm.
I was saying it'd be great if we both have one moment of gratitude. Why? Oh, because I'm like doing this.
Every thumbs up,
Ah!
it pops up.
Me just kind of patting myself here.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
yeah. So, is there anything that came up for you, either in the broader online community or your local LGS or something like that, that you wanted to
um,
shout out?
I mean, I guess I just shout out the community in general. I find that the Lorcana community is probably one of the better communities when it comes to TCGs. I made a trade with somebody for my Bolt Enchanted, and it was right after the Bolt Enchanted shot up in price that he received it, and or that I received his half, and I was like, oh man, well that feels pretty rough. And he actually messaged me and said like, "Hey man, I just wanted to let you know like the price on the Bolt it's up. I see that. If it continues to climb when, we've made this trade and you're fine with it, I'd like to send you some more cards to kind of make up a little bit of the
Ah,
difference." And I was like, "No, no, 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 no. That's part of the
yeah.
TCGs, man. It's all a gamble." I was like, "I greatly appreciate the offer of you sending
Yeah.
me more cards to help fill up my playset, but like, you know, I agreed to the trade." And he's like, "Well, I'd never want anyone to feel like they're losing on a trade, or like I feel like I've won, or like I've ripped somebody off." And I was like, "I don't feel like that
Yeah.
at all." I was like, I had already kind of seen that, you know, this bolt can either go up or it can go down. If somebody finds a deck, it's gonna go up. If somebody
Yeah.
can make a deck for it, if somebody can't, it's gonna start going down. And so it's like, I appreciate it, but just enjoy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's one thing. And then like just in the community in general, like watching people when I had everybody here to do our opening party, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm looking at building a ruby steel deck, or I'm looking at building my sapphire steel, or this or that." It was like, "Hey, you needed these cards? Okay, here you go." And it's like, "Whoa, whoa, what do I owe you for it?" "Oh, well, what cards do you need?" "Oh, I don't know. I need one of these." "Okay, well, here, take that." And cards are just going left, right, and center to kind of help build the community and build up better decks. And these are
Yeah.
people obviously that I've known for a while, so that kind of helps the situation. But like just in general, when you go to an LGS, like when I'm at Tombkeeper and I hear a guy who's new to the game say like, "Oh, I'm looking for like one more Alice," and then you just quickly see somebody like, "Here you go, you can have that one." And it's like, "Oh, well, what do
Yeah.
I owe you for it?" "Oh, don't worry about it, man." It's
Yeah.
like I don't know, I enjoy stuff like that because we're all just trying to come out here and have a good time. We all have limited time. Most of us, we either have careers or careers, kids, everything, families,
We're
wives.
all just tired dads and
Yeah,
moms
wives,
and
husbands, spouses,
whatever.
and everybody's busy, so we're just trying to find
Yeah.
the time to enjoy something that we enjoy. And it's nice that there's people that are kind of out there trying to make it so it's more enjoyable.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I think for me, the one that stood out of yours is your trade partner there. I thought that was pretty cool. So
Hmm.
shout out you. For me, one of the people I want to shout out is proud member of the Overexerted Discord, Martin Karp. Uh, Lives near Disney in Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah.
You might know more about this than I, so feel free to layer on. But I just love that Martin always seems to be out there passing out cards
Hmm.
to cast members, to people in the parks there, just trying to build the game up, trying to show a bit of pixie dust to some people in
Yeah.
the parks. So I know lots of people try to do that. So shout out to all you, but I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Martin for that because I think that Martin's been trying to contribute a lot in the community in a lot of ways, but that one
Yeah.
stood out for me. So just wanted to take a moment there. So
Well, that was our
well done,
future
Martin.
guest. So
There you go.
perfect.
Um, yeah, so also I'd love to say for anyone in the Discord or in the comments or anything like that, I'd love to maybe have an audience
Mhm.
moment of gratitude as well. If you got a story, try and make it something brief, a lot briefer than one Benny's just had. And yeah, shout out someone in your community that impacted you in a positive way in the Lorcana space. Love to hear that. So
Yeah. Yeah. The more that we have, the better, because we've got a lot of people saying, "Hey," we've got a lot of people
that
saying,
one was
"Hey,
intentional.
I don't want to play because Sapphire's here," and yada yada yada. Well, like you
Yeah,
said, let's get some more positive into this, and
dig
yeah,
it.
if you guys have stuff to shout them out. We'll be like your radio host where you wanted to play a song for your sweetheart or for your best buddy who was going
Yeah,
through something.
yeah,
We'll give them the shout out. So drop that in the comments. I don't have it, just you.
yeah.
Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa! Woo! For all the
I need to do
listeners,
this more often.
every time Heath puts a thumbs up, it gives a little thumbs up bubble, but he just did a double thumbs up and we had fireworks going off behind him.
Fireworks.
So if you don't have video, go check it. Well, if you're not listening with video, go check it out on YouTube because it was magical. I felt like I was in
So
Disneyland for a couple
magical,
seconds.
right? Very on brand.
Oh, that was the first thing my wife said as soon as we were about to pack up for the campsite. She's like, "So when I go home, can I book a Disney trip?" Like,
Is that the trade-off?
I'm like, listen, there's tariffs. We can't be.
Yeah, it's expensive right now. The
Yeah,
dollar's garbage. Yeah. All
yeah.
right.
But in good news, all the shout outs to all the great community members. Martin Karp,
Yeah.
thank you for what you are doing for the community. Keep it up. And yeah, thank you all for joining us for another episode of Overexerted, your favorite podcast of Lorcana. Find us everywhere
At
on
least
YouTube.
my sixth favorite.
Yeah, maybe top 10, top 5 for some of you.
How many still exist?
We'll find out. As long as we keep sticking around, we'll be your favorite.
There you go. This is just a war of attrition.
Exactly. We'll outlive all of them. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you listen to podcasts, we're out there. And find us on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, let us know your good moments. Let us know what you thought of the episode. And let us keep making podcasts for you. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us. The double
Fireworks.
thumbs up. That was magic.